How are you, learners? Welcome to Form 3 Mathematics. My name is Teacher Jean. I would like us to look at formation of quadratic equations. Formation of quadratic equations given some situations. Form 3 work. Learner, such questions are normally tested in exams and they carry many marks. They can even carry 10 marks. So let us look at it. Here is the question. A group of young men decided to raise 480,000 shillings to start a business. A group of young men, learners, decided to raise 480,000 shillings to start a business. Before the actual payment was made, look at this. Before the actual payment was made, 4 of the members pulled out. They withdrew from the group. And each of those remaining, therefore, had to pay an additional of shillings 20,000. Determine the original number of members. Determine the original number of members. So, solution learn. You come and see. Let the original number of members be x. Be what? Be x. And therefore, learner, we can come and see x members at the beginning, they were to contribute 480,000 shillings. Therefore, learner, in this case, one member therefore would have contributed what? You cross multiply and divide. So one member here at the beginning was to contribute 480,000 over x, cross multiplication. He was to contribute that. Then we go to the second sentence. Before the actual payment was done or was made, 4 of the members pulled out. 4 of the members pulled out. Therefore, learner, when 4 pulled out, the remaining members are therefore how many? The remaining members now are what? X minus 4. 4 pulled out, and therefore the remaining members therefore are x minus 4. Therefore, learner, we come and say x minus 4 members now are to contribute the same amount of shillings, 480. The few members here which are left behind are to contribute the same amount. Therefore, one member in this case would contribute how many shillings? Cross multiply, look at this, and divide by the number of members. Cross multiply. And therefore, each member now is contributing this. It is therefore important, learner, to understand that the amount paid or contributed by one person now is more because they are contributing the same amount and now they are less. So the amount contributed by one person is more than what was being contributed at the beginning. And therefore, learner, let us come and go through it again. Before the actual payment was made, 4 of the members pulled out. And each of those remaining had to pay an additional of shillings 20,000. So, learner, we have said that this time round, each member here will contribute more than this here. And we are told that this member now is contributing 20,000 more shillings. So the difference between these two amounts here, learner, is shillings 20,000. And remember, this amount here is more or greater or more than the original amount that would have been contributed by each member. So learner, if you take the bigger amount, you subtract the lower amount, you should get 20,000 as the difference. So we form an equation. The bigger amount, there we are, subtracting the smaller amount, look at these, would give us 20,000. It's good to understand that. The bigger amount minus the small amount should give you 20,000. Learner, here we have an equation, and therefore we remove these denominators by multiplying with the LCM. The LCM will be x minus 4, we multiply with it there. Then the LCM here would still be the same, multiply with the LCM, and on this other side, multiply with the LCM. This and this learner will cancel out. Here, x and x will cancel out, and then we now multiply. 480,000 times x gives you 480,000 x. Minus what, learner? 480,000 multiplied by, maybe you can write it here so that we don't make a mistake. 480,000 and then multiply by x minus 4 there is equals to 20,000 x times x gives you 20,000 x squared. Look at that. Minus what? This times 4 gives you 80,000 x. We remove this bracket here. We talk of 480,000 x minus, multiply here, 480,000 x minus times minus, learner, gives you plus. Plus what? Multiply this, you'll get 192 with how many zeros? 4 zeros. Like that. Is equals to 20,000 x squared minus 80,000 x. There we are. We have removed this bracket accurately. Take care of the signs as you multiply. Minus times minus is plus. From there now things become a bit easier. For 80,000 x minus 40,000 x, you get 0. So those two values cancel out. So you are left with 192. Look at this. 192 with 4 zeros is equals to 20,000 x squared minus 80,000 x. There we are. This is quadratic. We have x squared there, we have x and we have a constant. Arrange it properly. Take this to the other side, learner, so that you equate it to 0. Take the constant to the other side to become minus. So you talk of 20,000 x squared minus 80,000 x, learner. Take this to the other side, it becomes minus, like that, is equal to 0. Once you take this to the other side, you equate everything to 0. So there we are. These numbers are very big in this quadratic equation. Make them smaller, maybe by dividing by 10,000 there, 10,000, 10,000 there. So that will go, that will go, that will go. So you're left with 2x squared minus 8x minus 192, learner, is equals to 0. It is becoming now smaller, simpler. And therefore, we can still divide through by 2 to make it even more simpler. Look at that, divide by 2. So you get x squared minus 4x minus 96 is equals to 0, learner. So we have formed a quadratic equation here. Remember our topic here, learner, is formation of quadratic equations from given situations. We have formed a quadratic equation here that we now need to solve to get our x. So learner, let us solve this equation. So our equation is x squared minus 4x minus 96 is equals to 0. We need to get x referring to the original number of members. Good. So we solve these by factor method, product sum. Product sum. Product is negative 96. The sum is negative 4. The two numbers are 8 and negative 12. If you multiply the same, you get that. You take those, go and substitute or replace the second term here. So we normally write x squared plus 8 joined to x minus 12 multiplied with x minus 96 is equals to 0. Learn, group this into two groups, factor out x. So you are left with x plus 8 minus what? Factor out 12. 12 is common, factor it out, and therefore you are left with x plus, then you put plus 8. We put plus so that if you wanted to multiply to go backwards, minus times plus would give you minus. Look at that. Minus times plus would give you minus. So here we fix a plus, not minus, is equals to 0. From there, learner, this is a common bracket, x plus 8, factor it out. And therefore you are left with what? X minus 12 in another bracket there is equals to 0. And therefore, learner, this means either this bracket is equals to 0 or the second bracket is equals to 0. So you have x here is equals to what? Minus 8. Or x here is equals to what? Taking minus 12 to the other side, you get 12. Learner, remember we are looking at the original number of members. The original number of members cannot be negative. It cannot be negative. So the original number of members was 12. So you write the original number of members in the group was 12. So learner, go and practice on how to form equations, quadratic equations given some situations. Go through this example, redo it, repeat as many times as possible so that you're able to internalize the concept. God bless you, learner. I wish you the best. I love you so much. Thank you.